Hi guys, my name is Diane. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a wonderful crochet project for you to try. This lovely scarf, perfect for autumn. As you can see, I've made this in a colour changing yarn, but it would look just as great in any colour that you like. I've designed the stitch pattern with simple yet beautiful stitches so that anyone from crochet beginners through to the advanced crocheter will enjoy making this scarf. I will also show you a really easy and quick way to make the tassels on the end of the scarf, which of course is optional. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, as this really helps support my channel so that I can keep on bringing you crochet videos like this one. Anyway, enough chatter. If you would like to learn how to crochet this scarf, keep on watching. So I found this beautiful yarn and just had to buy it. It is Papatia yarns and it comes in a range of different colorways, but I absolutely loved this green. It runs through from a dark green through to almost, well, a cream as well, and then back again, and it's just beautiful. They've got lots of different colorways, and I decided I'm going to make the scarf in this color. It comes in 100 grams, 360 meters per skein. It's machine washable and it's 100% acrylic. So we're going to make the scarf in this beautiful yarn. Also, so you know, I bought two 100 grams of this wool, and this was plenty, absolutely plenty for a 70-inch scarf. If you wanted to do a shorter scarf, I would even say one ball would be fine. But if you're looking for a scarf that's long enough to wrap around your neck, I would say two, and two is, you will have plenty left over. So yeah, I used 2 balls. Also for this project, I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, and I've took the label off the yarn so you can appreciate just why I had to buy this yarn. Absolutely gorgeous. So let's get started. So bring the camera in and start with your slip knot, however you feel comfortable in doing. And we are going to start with a foundation chain of 36. So go ahead and make your chain of 36 and I will meet you there. So once you have your foundation chain of 36, we're now going to add 3 extra chains. 1, 2 and 3. And for row 1, we are going to make 1 double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So yarn over, count 1, 2, 3, 4, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then chain 1, and into that same stitch that you've just worked, make another double crochet. So yarn over, put your hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and there you've made a V stitch. Now we're going to skip 2 chains, so skip this one, and in the next one place your next V stitch, which starts with a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet all into that same stitch. So now we have 2 V stitches and this double crochet at the end, sorry, this chain 3 at the end. So again, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, yarn over, and in the next, so in the third one, put your hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, yarn over and into this very same stitch, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and there's another V stitch. And again, see, I'll already yarn over before I start counting, ready for my next double crochet. So skip 2, so 1, 2, and in the next one we're going to make another V stitch, which is a double crochet, just like that, chain 1, and then a double crochet again in that same stitch. And there's another V stitch, and then skip 2 and put in another V stitch. Chain 1 and then another double crochet in that same stitch. Okay, now skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, put your V stitch in the next. Doing the stitches nice and slowly here for any beginners out there. Okay, so get yarn over, ready for your next double crochet. Skip 2, 1, 2, put your double crochet, so yarn over, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, and then again yarn over, hook into that very same stitch you've just worked, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you've made a V stitch. We're going to do this all the way along your foundation chain. So yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and in the next make your V-stitch, which is your double crochet. Chain 1, and then double crochet into that same stitch that you've just worked. Ready for the next one, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and in the next, do your next V-stitch. Don't forget your chain 1 in between your double crochets, which creates that V shape. Then skip 2, 1, 2, hook in, make your next V-stitch, chain 1 after that first double crochet, yarn over and make your next double crochet into that same stitch, and you can see your V-stitches all the way along. And again, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, hook in, make your next V-stitch, chain 1, do another double crochet into that same stitch. And again, 1, skip 2, 1, 2, and in the next, make a V-stitch, chain 1, there we go. Now we come to the end of the row, and you'll notice you only have 2 stitches, and this is what we want. So yarn over, and in that skip 1 stitch, and in that last stitch just place a double crochet stitch. So hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and there is row 1. So for row 2, chain 2 and turn your work, and straight away we are going straight to making the V-stitches again, but we're going to be putting them inside the V of the row below. If I show you slowly, you'll be able to see. So yarn over, put your hook inside that V. It's underneath the chain 1 here. So just put it inside the V-stitch and then pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then chain 1, and then in the same V-stitch that you've just worked, this double crochet, yarn over, put your hook into the same space and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you can see you've put a V-stitch on top of the V-stitch from the row below. And straight away we're going to put our next V-stitch into this one. I don't know if I need to pull the camera out slightly so it's not quite so close to the camera. Yarn over, put your hook straight into that V and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Then chain 1. Yarn over, put your hook into that same space. Then yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And you can see you've put another V-stitch on top of the one from the row below. And we're going to do this all the way along until the end of the row, putting in a V-stitch on top of the V-stitches from the row below. If you just follow along, so as you can see, we're putting in a V-stitch into each and every V-stitch from the row below. So keep going, putting in your V-stitches into the V-stitch from the row below, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here we are at the end of the row. Just got one last V-stitch there, so make your next V-stitch into that. And then to finish the row, you have a chain 3 here. Pop a double crochet into the second chain up. So, or another way to look at it is you skip this chain here, skip this one, and put a double crochet, so yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that finishes off your row. So we're going to repeat row 2 for a total, so you have 15 rows in total. So we have 2 rows already, so you need to do row 2 13 more times. So I'll just remind you how you start this off. So you chain 2. You can always rewind this video back to the beginning of row 2. So you've chained 2, turn your work, and then yarn over and place your first V-stitch straight into this V here. Hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and always do that chain 1 in between, then yarn over, hook into the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then straight away into the next V here, put in another V stitch here, chain 1, there we go. As you can see, we're placing V stitches on top of the V stitch all the way along, and this is a repeat of row 2. So if you want to rewind this video back to the beginning of row 2, that is your repeat for the next 13 rows. So we're going to have 15 rows of V stitches in total. So keep going with your V stitch rows, and I will meet you here when you've got 15 rows in total of your V stitches, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so this is what your work should look like after 15 rows of the V-stitch. So now we're going to go on to row 16. And first of all, for row 16, chain 1 and turn your work. And row 16 is very simply placing a single crochet stitch in each stitch along. But this is a good idea to make sure you're still keeping your 36 stitches so your scarf stays nice and straight. But so starting not in this stitch here, but the next one, place a single crochet and then start counting. So that's 1. And when you get to your V-stitch, just place your hook under the chain 1 space there. That's 2, and then into the next stitch. 3, and in the top of your V-stitch, that's 4, and then into the V-stitch, 5, and continue all the way along this row, popping in a single crochet into your each and every stitch. So continue to do that, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So here we are at the end of this row, row 16. You've put in your single crochet stitches, and I just wanted to show you how to finish this row to keep your scarf nice and straight. When you've put your last stitch into your last stitch of across, into this chain here, pop in one single crochet into that chain there, and that just keeps the scarf nice and straight. So we're going to do row 17. Chain 1 and turn your work, and the first stitch we're going to make a single crochet into the second stitch from the hook. So not this one but this one, pop in a single crochet, and then in the next stitch we're going to create a popcorn stitch, a half double crochet popcorn stitch, and I'll show you how to do this. So yarn over, put your hook into the stitch, not the space like we were before, but into the stitch. Pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now we're going to do that again. Yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And again, yarn over, put your hook into the same stitch again, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So we've done 3. We're going to do 5 half double crochet stitches all into that very same stitch there. So we've done 3, so we want to do 2 more. So there we go, we've done 5 half double crochets all into that same stitch, which, if you notice, sits above the V stitches. So now just pull up your loop a little bit like that and take out your hook. Now find the very first half double crochet stitch that you made in this set of 5. So, which is this one just here. And put your hook into the top of that stitch, which is just slightly to the left of it there. Okay, so we're going from the back of the work, not the front, the back, into that first half double crochet stitch there, and then put your hook back through your loop, pull it down nice and snug, and then slip stitch it through, pull it through just like that. Pull it nice and snug, and what it's done, it's bundled those half double crochets together, creating this popcorn effect. And straight away in the next stitch make a single crochet. And a single crochet into the next. And here we are again, ready to do our next popcorn stitch. So we want 5 half double crochet stitches all in the same stitch. That's 5. Pull up your loop a little bit like that, and then find your first half double crochet in this set of 5, which is here, and from the back push your hook through the top of that stitch. And then push your hook through your loop, grab your yarn, pull it snug down, and then slip stitch, which is just to pull it all the way through. Okay, snug it nice and tight there, and then single crochet into the next stitch and also the next stitch, and then make a popcorn into the next. So 5 half double crochet stitches in here, If you're not sure, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's your single crochet. So pop your hook into the top, that first set of 5, through your loop, pull that down, and then slip stitch it through, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet into the next. And as you'll see, you've come to your next V, and we're going to make a popcorn stitch into this next one. So I'll just show you one more time, and then I'll let you carry on till the end of the row. So 5 half double crochets all into that same stitch. And then pull up your loop like that. Find your first half double crochet in that set of 5 stitches, which is here. Pop it into the top of that stitch, which is just slightly to the left of that stitch there, and then through your loop and pull through, and then single crochet in the following 2 stitches. So continue to make your popcorn stitches all the way till the end of the row, and your last popcorn stitch will be above this V-stitch here, and this is where I'll meet you just to show you how to finish off this row. Okay, so we're at the end of this row, and I've just put in my 5 half double crochet stitches here. So I'll just finish this popcorn stitch. And then to finish, make sure you do your last 2 single crochet stitches, and the last one being into that chain 1 space from the row below. And that keeps your scarf nice and straight. So for the next row, we chain 1. And if you turn your work, you can see There are lovely popcorn stitches there. Now to do the second row of popcorn stitches, because it only works on the one side, we need to do a row of single crochet stitches. So pop your first stitch in the second stitch from the hook, make a single crochet. Now this row's slightly, you've got to concentrate a little bit on this row. This space here is not a stitch. Your next stitch is just after your popcorn bobbles here. So if it helps, count your stitches and make sure you've got your 36 stitches. And your next one is in here. And then single crochet in here. And you come to your bobble. This bit here, it looks like it might be a stitch, but it's not. Just pop it into this one, just to the left of your popcorn stitch. So continue putting in your single crochet stitches all the way along and count them as you're going along and making sure you've got 36 stitches. And I'll meet you at the end of the row and we'll carry on from there. If you find that you've got to the end of your row and you haven't got your 36 stitches, you've got too many or too little, I just wanted to show you that it's not a big deal really. You can just go back. Let's just say you had not enough stitches. You could undo your stitches back to a little point back into your row, and you can add a stitch by putting another stitch into two stitches into the same stitch. That's one way of adding stitches. That's if you found you haven't got quite enough stitches in there. And then carry on. And if it's more than one you need, just add another one into the same stitch along. So you're adding stitches in just to make sure you've got your 36 stitches. If you find you've got too many, you can undo your work and you can do two stitches together. So put your hook in, pull up a loop, and then put your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So you've pulled two stitches together. And you can do this as many or as few times as you need to make sure you've got your 36 stitches. But don't worry too much about that. You know, if I needed to pull it together a little bit further here, let's just say we've got 4 stitches too many, you could decrease here, hook in, and then hook in the next one, and then pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops. That way you're sort of creating less stitches. So increase or decrease your stitches as you need to make sure you've got your 36 stitches. So at the end of the row, just make sure you're putting your last stitch into your chain 1 space that you made at the beginning of the last row. Okay, so there's your single crochet stitch row. So chain 1 and turn your work. And we're going to do our second row of popcorn stitches, but we're going to do them so they're offset. So our first popcorn stitch is going to be in this one here, in between these two. So first of all, what we're going to do is start by single crocheting our way along to that stitch. A single crochet, and another single crochet, and we're going to put in our first popcorn stitch in the next. So yarn over, put in your 5 half double crochet stitches. There we go, and then pull your loop up, hook through that first one and through your loop and pull it through, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and just check that it's slightly offset. Then single crochet into your next stitch, and then we're ready to do your next popcorn stitch. So it's popcorn stitch, two single crochet stitches, popcorn stitch, 2 single crochet stitches. That's 5. And 2 single crochet stitches. And if you just want to turn your work over just to check that they're sitting offset. So then you put in your next one. So continue all the way along this row, putting in your popcorn stitches with 2 single crochet stitches in between each one, and I will meet you at the end of this row. So we're coming to the end of the second popcorn row, and if you turn it over, you'll see that here is the last popcorn stitch from the row below. We're going to place our last popcorn stitch on this row just in between these two, and we're going to make that the last popcorn stitch. So I need to make one more single crochet stitch, and in the next one we'll do my last popcorn stitch, And then we're just going to make a single crochet all the way to the end. So single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the next stitch, and always make sure you put your in that chain one space, chain one. It's difficult to find, but it's just right in the corner. There we go. And there is your 2 rows of popcorn stitches. So now that is your pattern repeat. We do 15 rows of the V-stitch, and then we do 2 rows of popcorn stitch. But before we can move on to the back to the V-stitch, we do need to just do one more row of single crochet. So chain 1, and single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And again, it's important, this is probably the most important row of single crochets that you really need to make sure you've got your 36 stitches to enable you to make your V stitches. So putting in your single crochet stitches just like we did in the row in between your popcorn stitches. So if you look here, don't count this one as a stitch, the one to the left of your popcorn stitch. So put in your single crochet stitches all the way along, counting as you go, making sure that at the end of this row you have 36 stitches. And if you've got too many, then just do a slight decrease. If there's not enough, do a slight increase. So I'll meet you at the end of this row, and then we'll go back onto our V-stitches. And at the end of this row of single crochet, again making sure you put your last stitch into that chain 1 at the end. So now we are going to go back to repeating row 2 from the very beginning. So chain 2 and turn your work. And we are going to place our first, get that on camera there. We're going to place our first V-stitch into that 3rd chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one. Just so it all lines up with the V-stitches from before. And make a double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over and make another double crochet into that same stitch. So we're going back to doing 15 more rows of the V-stitch. Skip 2, another V-stitch. There we go. Just do a couple more. Skip 2. Okay, so you continue along to the end of your row, popping in your V-stitches, and when you get to the end of the row, place a double crochet into your chain here to finish. Chain 2, turn your work and continue on with your V-stitch rows. And as you can see from the front, gives this beautiful little texture to the pattern of the scarf. Every 15 rows you'll come back and repeat these 4 rows. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 rows if you're counting the single crochet. So every 15 rows of your V-stitch, then come back and do these 5 rows here. Single crochet row, popcorn stitch row, then a single crochet in between and another popcorn stitch, single crochet, and then back onto another 15 rows of V-stitches, and continue this repeat for as long as you want your scarf. And you can always rewind the video. So row 2 is a good point to rewind the video to for your V-stitch. And row 17 for your popcorn stitches. So keep going, and I'll see you when I've made a few more rows of mine and when the scarf starts to resemble a scarf. So I've finished working up the length of the scarf, and as you can see, it has worked up absolutely beautifully. You might find that where you have the popcorn stitch rows, it does stretch out because of the nature of the stitch. It does stretch it out slightly on each section of these stitches. And if you wanted to put, say, a border of half double crochets all the way around your scarf, just so that your edges are perfectly straight, you can do, but honestly, I think it looks absolutely beautiful just as it is. The length that I've done is just shy of 70 inches, which is an average length scarf. And I'm going to put on some tassels in just a second. But as you can see, the other side looks like this, which is just as beautiful. Obviously you can't see the bobbles from the other side, but the colorway is lovely. Nice wintry color, I think. Okay, so let's get on, and I'll just quickly show you how to make the tassels. So for the tassels, I've took sections of the ball of wool of the different shades and took the three shades, the dark green, the cream, and the sage green. And I thought that would look nice just mixed randomly into the end of the scarf for the tassels. So, and I'll just show you a very quick and simple way of making tassels. You just grab the section of the yarn, or you could do them all in the same color if you like, obviously. Grab a section of yarn And this is just a regular old coaster, table coaster, and just hold part of the wool on the top there and just wrap. Let's get some wool. Wrap around a few times like that, and then with your scissors get in underneath there and just snip like that. And you have tassels all the same length. Okay, so you've got the end of your scarf here. This beginning beginning strand here that you started your very first foundation chain. You don't need to snip that off, that will blend in with the tassels, so that's great. That's one less end to sew in. So take one of your strands of your tassel yarn and just fold it in half like that. I'll bring the camera in so you can see what I'm doing. And it's one of the simplest ways to put a little bit of tassel on the end of your scarf. Find a stitch at the bottom corner of your scarf, hook your tassel over the hook like that and then pull it through, and then simply yarn over both pieces of the tassel and pull the whole thing through. And there you have your first tassel. And then I'm just going to randomly select out of the three colours. So you fold that in half. Find your next, I'm probably just going to do one per stitch. It makes an ample enough tassel, but if you wanted to put 2 or 3 in each stitch, please go ahead, and you have a nice big thick tassels at the bottom. So then find your next stitch at the bottom, put your hook in, hook your tassel over the end of your hook, pull it through, then yarn over with both pieces of the yarn and then pull through just like a single crochet, pull it all the way through, and there's your second one. And let's go in with a third. Fold it in half and then find your next stitch, hook the tassel over your hook and pull it through, and then just yarn over with both strands, making a single crochet and pull all the way through. Very, very easy. Now continue all the way along to the end and do the tassel as you feel. It could be that this is a little too sparse, you can add more in as you go along, But basically that is how you do your tassel. And when you've finished, you may want to just trim the ends to make them nice and straight. And that is how you make your tassel. And there we go. There's your tassels. And this is just with one tassel strand in each stitch all the way along. And it's, for me, that's tassel enough. But if you wanted to make them thicker, just add more into the stitches that you've put them in. Just add more in as thick as you would like. But there is your tassels and your beautiful scarf.